CrossFit is better than 90% of strength and conditioning in other sports. Look, I've been on a bit of a motocross kick again. It's taken over all of the free real estate in my brain, which arguably is quite a lot. No, not really. But in the background while I'm working, I keep listening to motocross documentaries. I'm just reliving my childhood where basically I didn't have a motocross bike and I really wanted one. Yeah, maybe I'm going to get one again. But it's led me to this. It led me to think, what is strength and conditioning like in motocross and associated with it, enduro, other things like that? Because it is a ridiculous feat of physical fitness to compete in this sport. It is a ridiculous level of endurance that you have to have, as well as all of the other things like strength, coordination, all of those other kind of components, that's the word. And I have seen a lot of riders have good training. It led me onto this documentary though, and I was watching a full session, and I'll insert it here. Why don't I do that?
All right, so for workout number 1, we hit the upper body. We're doing 12 forward lunge hammer curls to press, 12 bent over lateral tricep extensions, 45 seconds farmer's hold, 45 seconds ball slams. We rested for 1 minute and we did this for 4 rounds.
There you go. You've seen it for yourself now, and it is pretty mind-blowing. The level of arguably like neglect of strength and conditioning coaches, when we know, so many people understand the fact now. It's prepare yourself, generally, lift heavy, sprint often, all of these basic principles which form the foundation for athletic performance. It does not need to be over specified. This is not me like slating on strength and conditioning, and okay, maybe I'm using the title to be a bit more provocative about strength and conditioning than I actually am in the video, but I think strength and conditioning is so valuable, so important, and yeah, 100% better than CrossFit when it comes to actually preparing you for a sport if it's done properly. But in this case, if you were to get this guy to perform some of those basic movements in CrossFit with quality, with the correct dosage, it's going to be miles better than what this fucking lunatic's got him doing in this small group personal training gym. Because in reality, there's so much more to come from these movements which are staples as part of CrossFit. Things like a front squat. Picture the torso position, the structural integrity benefits that you're going to gain from being able to front squat, let alone being able to front squat some load, is going to be tenfold better when it comes to actually providing you a strong foundation to work from, when compared to just movements which you're trying to replicate the sport or giving you the same level of training stimulus that you would get from a fucking Pilates class. It gets my back up, and it's because I rate strength and conditioning so highly, because I was lucky enough to be involved with a sport that actually prioritises the basics, that being rugby, and that being my background. That has given me such a good understanding of how basic things need to be for other people. And using my knowledge of CrossFit and where I stand now, I can understand that, like I said, at the right intensity, at the right dosage, something like CrossFit is going to be miles better for someone in this position. Obviously, yes, you're not going to be going and doing fucking Grace or Fran, and that's not really specific to what you want to be doing, but to underpin your physicality, your athleticism, you need those basic movement patterns. You need to perform them with quality and not be afraid of doing anything that's fucking high demand. It's unbelievable, and it makes me sad to see, because it's the same in so many sports. Obviously, you've got the thing of strength and conditioning coaches having to keep the reins on their athletes, and more so just trying to keep them from being injured, because if they are responsible for causing any injuries or something, it's their own livelihood that's at stake, and potentially that's something that they're paying attention to. But it's it's injury prevention in the biggest form, when you're prioritizing strength, prioritizing movement quality, high demand movements, and building out a solid base from these basic movements which we know provide that. When will there be an actual revolution of general physical preparedness across all sports? I don't know. I'm not confident in in social media in this day and age, where we're hyper fixated on the things with the bells and whistles on it, where trainers that are trying to make movements make them up entirely to just replicate the sport, I'm not sure we can ever fully be away from that. But coming from a CrossFit coach that sees the underpinning factors and sees the things that carry over to real life sport, to real life itself, it's a frustrating one. Thank you for joining me on this rant anyway. I hope that it's proved valuable, funny, entertaining, and hopefully I brought you in with a title which you thought was going to be completely different to the video. I jest. A final message is, if you are one of the CrossFit community that I actually normally speak to, and you want to move up through the levels, you want to make big changes in your performance, you want to unlock new movements, and you want to kind of take away the guessing out of things, don't hesitate to hit the links below. Quite obviously, I'm an online CrossFit coach, and we've got plenty of coaching options, one-to-one group options with high quality programming, high quality support, and you can get good results from it. Speak to you soon. See you in the next one.